Okay, hey guys. So I will just try to explain to you a little bit the Maelstrom arena with stamina classes. I run through it with all 4 classes yet, and so my opinion yet is like easiest was Nightblade, then Stamina Sorc, Stam DK, and the last one Stam Templar. I will explain or talk about the classes more later. So my general setup kind of was I always run between 17 and 20k health. You don't really need more because most shit one-shots you anyway, so it really doesn't fucking matter how much HP you have. Then I always try to run with like 1.4 to 1.78k stamina recovery depending on the class, of course. So you basically have choice. Always get hunting's rage right with Molakena, and then jewelry. You can either use the endurance jewelry or the agility stuff. So these 2 rings and yeah, like this. It really depends. You will have more weapon damage and more stamina with agility, but you'll have a little bit less recovery and less HP. And when you have endurance on, you will have more HP and a little bit more recovery, but less stamina and less weapon damage. So yeah, maybe when you go in there the first time, really run through with the endurance jewelry because it feels easier. You have to dodge. You can dodge roll more. You can avoid more attacks. So we kind of need a little bit stamina recovery mainly because blocking is a bad idea because you drop down to zero stamina recovery once you block because of Zanimex's beautiful most retarded change. I don't know why, but whatever. So better is that you dodge roll. I know you can't dodge roll like crazy because you get the 33% increase every time you dodge roll within less than 4 seconds, but it still works. Like you can avoid a lot of damage by just dodge rolling. Yeah. Then on some, for example on DK and Nightblade, I run tri-stat food. Like this here. Because DK and Nightblade have quite a lot of useful magic abilities. I will tell you later more about those. And for Sorc and Templar, just use those HP stamina food because you don't really have any magic abilities that are useful at all. Then about potions, you can use weapon crit potions because probably you don't have Evil Hunter or Camo Hunter on the bar. But you also can run those here Tristat, so because you get stamina, magic and health back, which is pretty nice too. You have to get the feeling a little bit. I mostly use those Panacea of Health because you get all 3 resources back. And yeah, you will see. Then, as you have noticed, on most characters I have Werewolf, mainly because of the 15% stamina regeneration, and Werewolf can deal shit ton of damage. So if you know how to use it, you can burst down a few bosses really fast. But it's also tricky to use because you don't really have any good self heal, so you have to get the hang out of it. Okay, so let's move on to the 4 classes. It's really, I mean, it's just my opinion. Other things also work 100%. It's just so far. I also haven't figured out everything yet. It's just what I did up till now. So you kind of get the idea of each class if you have them. Okay, let's see. So basically on my Nightblade I run 5 pieces Hunting's Rage, 1 Kena, 3 pieces Night Mother's Gaze, with both the weapons and some random two-hander, it doesn't really matter what you use there. Then 3 pieces Agility Jewelry. The rings I have always with weapon damage, and if I have stamina recovery issues I could swap out my weapon damage necklace with a stamina recovery agility necklace. Healthy or agility trait, stamina trait, it doesn't really matter. Just to get a little bit more stamina recovery. But in general, as you can see, the stats, weapon damage 3.3k unbuffed is quite nice, and stamina recovery is at 1.6k, which is actually enough for Nightblade. I will tell you afterwards why. So now the skills I use to get through arena. Mass Hysteria, it is very nice, like when you have many melee mobs attacking you, you just can pop this and they just fuck off the other direction, and you have time to kill at least one of the guys before the fear goes off. Steel Tornado, main AoE skill. Surprise attack, because it really deals a lot of damage and you can weave it fast. Killer's Blade as my executioner skill. Resolving Vigor, I have it on the first bar because I want to get access to a fast heal in case something hits me. And then I have the Werewolf ulti. This is mainly here because of the 15% stamina recovery you get. You also can use it if you want to, but it is not necessary. But yeah, with Werewolf you can burst down a lot more, like the boss faster if you know how. But yeah, here on the Nightblade I always kept using Bolstering Darkness. It's the other morph of Veil of Blades, because it reduces the incoming damage by 60%. This is just ridiculous high. It's retarded high. I mean, I don't know. It's whatever. Then I use Rally for the weapon damage buff, and it also gives a nice heal over time effect. Double take for the 20% dodge chance, and then you have to run away. You also can activate this. It's quite nice, like the speed buff. Caltrops, I try to have Caltrops up as much as possible. Not because of the damage, but because of siphoning attacks. So why I told you guys before, I don't really need a lot of stamina recovery, right? Here, and that's mainly because of this skill. As you see, basic attack, so when you light attack, surprise attack weave, you get a lot of stamina back, and there is a 10% chance to get an additional 2k stamina back from everything. So when you have Caltrops on the ground and you spam Steel Tornado, you basically will not lose any stamina at all. So this skill, it has to be up all the time. And it doesn't cost stamina, it costs magicka, so you will not have any stamina issues from it either. It's really nice. Then, last skill, here I mean you could put Evil Hunter if you want to. Prolonged Suffering. This skill stuns a mob for 30 seconds, so when you have 2 or 3 ranged mobs you can stun one with this skill, and then you only have 2 left. You go to one, pop Mass Hysteria, and then you go to the last one, kill it, and voila. Problem solved. Yeah, that's basically it from the Nightblade perspective. I mean, maybe it's possible to get, maybe you can play even with lower recovery if you know what you're doing. It's basically up to you. This is just the setup I run now through the arena with, for now, for the Nightblade. Okay, on my Templar, I basically run the same gear as on the Nightblade, 5 Houndings, 1 Kena, 3 Nightmother's Case, and agility rings with all weapon damage, and on the last boss I swapped out the weapon damage with stamina recovery. So basically like this, because I had to roll around more, so I kind of felt I needed a little bit more stamina recovery, but basically this one was enough to get through stage 1 to 8, if you know what attacks you have to avoid. And then of course we have Repentance. So as you can see, my weapon damage unbuffed 3.5k almost. It's a little bit higher due to Templar passives than on Nightblade. Recovery 1.5k. Those are the two most important stats. Of course I also have shitload of stamina and, well, health I don't have a lot, but it's fine. It really doesn't matter how much HP you have. You're gonna die anyway from one shot, so whatever. Skills Templar. I use Quick Cloak for the movement speed, because it gives you a 4-second speed buff, right? And it reduces AoE by 20%. Seal Tornado for AoE. And Jabs also for AoE and single target damage depending on the situation. I mean, this skill is really strong. Repentance, well, in the arena the bodies of the dead mobs go away pretty fast, so make sure to use it constantly if there is a dead mob on the ground before it disappears. Vigor again on the first bar, because I want to get access to a self-heal pretty fast, and the Werewolf Berserker because of the 15% stamina recovery. Together with Repentance we are at a 25% stamina recovery increase on those two skills, which is very nice. Then of course Werewolf does shit ton of damage again. You basically can nuke down some bosses if you have to, if you know what you're doing. I really like to use it on the Templar. Then second bar I have Rally again, heal over time. It's a nice one and gives you weapon damage bonus. Then now I was running Camo Hunter, but I will swap it out for Evil Hunter, because on the last 2 stages or 3, Evil Hunter can be quite helpful with the extra stamina you get. I have to change this later on. Then I use Shuffle for the 20% dodge chance on skills. Blazing Shield, well, you can swap it out with something else, it's not really necessary, but it's a small shield that can be helpful in certain situations. Degeneration, I only use it on bosses because you can get quite a nice heal back from it, but it's not really necessary. I only felt necessary to have it on the last boss when you go up to the crystals, because there is a nasty dot in you and then it really helps you a lot. The Solar Prison, this is nice on some stages because you get a 30% damage reduction, which sometimes can be very helpful. Okay, that's basically it. Let's move on. So on my Sorc, I run again with 5 pieces Houndings, 1 Kena piece, 3 Agility, and then I use 2 pieces Night Silence. So this one here and the Maul. You also could use a sword with Precise or a sword with Sharp, it doesn't really matter, it was the only thing I had, so I used this. Remember again, on the rings always weapon damage, and if I have any stamina recovery issues I swap out the weapon damage necklace with my stamina recovery. So you see my stamina recovery almost pops up to 2k, but again it's not really necessary. It's helpful but you don't really need it. Weapon damage at 3.1k unbuffed is a little bit lower due to a two-hander. than the Templar and Nightblade, but whatever. On dual wields, yeah, you can use two weapons if you have them. I don't know, like for Night Silence to get more stamina recovery, I just had nothing really good, so I just used those two. Then for skills, on the two-ender bar, basically this is all my single target bar. I use the rally again for the nice heal and 20% damage bonus. Now you can say you could get rid of this if you want to put something else here, but totally fine because we have critical surge. This is the most important skill for stamina source because you can deal a lot of damage and at the same time you get a lot of healing. That's why one of the points stem sorks have a quite good advantage because of this skill, because it just heals you so much. You see, heal you for 60% of the damage done, and Wrecking Blow deals so much damage, so basically one Wrecking Blow will heal you for 10k or more. It's quite nice. It has a small cooldown, but you will almost not notice it. Then Executioner is my execute ability. It also buffs, two-handed abilities in general by 18% on low health targets. And then Wrecking Blow, my main single target skill. You see it does shit ton of damage, 14k tooltip. That's quite a lot. Then I have Bound Armaments on both bars, mainly because it gives 8% increased stamina and you get 20% increased stamina recovery. So this skill is really awesome. Really make sure to have it on the bar here. Then again, Werewolf ulti. This one I use Pack Lead. You also can use the Berserker morph, doesn't really matter. Werewolf on Stamina Sork is especially good the first 20 seconds because when you have crit surge up together with the attacks from Werewolf, you almost can't die because the burst heals you get from the attacks you do is so high. It's crazy. Then again, those two together you get the extra 35% stamina recovery, so 15 from here and 20 from here. Then on the dual wheel bar, basically this is my AoE bar, quick cloak again, small speed buff, damage reduction from AoE. Then we have the streak. You also could put the thundering presence in here. I just like to have the streak because it gives you kind of a small, you can create a good gap to heal up again if there's a lot of mobs, and it stuns the enemies. Steel Tornado, quite nice too because it deals shitload of damage, so just spam it in AoE situations. Resolving Vigor to heal myself. Now I don't have this on the first bar mainly because I have a critical surge here that heals me a lot, so I can have it here easy. Here you basically can put the ulti, it doesn't really matter what ulti you use. Outro or Shooting Star or Dawnbreaker, whatever, I mean it's up to you. But really, if you have the possibility to use Werewolf, then use it on Stem Sork together with Critical Surge. So basically, buff up Surge, maybe Rally 2 and then Werewolf, and you will see everything will die in seconds. Okay. So on my DK, I use 5 pieces Hunting's Rage, 1 Molakena, 2 Night Silence, 2 random daggers, Wet 16 and 3 agility again. Now in my setup I run 2 weapon damage glyphs and recovery glyph. If you want to, you can put another weapon damage glyph there, but then your recovery gets kind of low. It's up to you. I felt safer with this. Then very important, on DK I use Tri-Stat food. So I actually have 14k Magicka because we have some magic abilities we want to use during the arena. I will tell you later about. Now rally again, nice heal over time. It gives us 20% increased weapon damage. Fossilize, very helpful. It can stun an enemy for almost like 25 seconds. It's very helpful. Executioner to execute the enemy. Wrecking Blow, my main single target. Skill, see 13k tooltip damage, so it crits for so much. Reflective Scales, basically the advantage a DK has in arena is you can kind of ignore all the ranged mobs with reflective scales, or at least you get more time to deal with them. Ranged mobs always deal a lot of damage, and when you pop reflective scales it actually helps quite a lot. That's also why we have Tri-Stat food, right? Then Werewolf ulti again because of the 15% stamina recovery, and I also use Werewolf on the DK occasionally. Then my dual wield bar, quick cloak again for movement speed and 20% damage reduction from AoE, it's very nice. Ignore shield, it gives a very small shield, 5k. The main reason we have this is because, let me check, because of helping hands. So every time I activate Igneous shields, I get a 5% stamina. I get 5% stamina back. That's quite a lot. Steel Tornado, my main AoE skill. Here you can use Camo Hunter, Evil Hunter. I would recommend using Evil Hunter or some other skills, especially Evil Hunter is especially helpful in the last two stages. And then I have Vigor again to heal myself up. Now another very important ulti, Corrosive Armor. This makes you basically immortal for 10 seconds or 11 seconds. I think the 100% ignore of physical resistance is still bugged, it doesn't work, but I haven't really tested it this patch. But the main reason why we use this is the 10 seconds immortality buff. And as you know, DK has Battle Roar. You get a lot of resources back when you use a ulti. So when you're low on stamina, just pop a ulti and you get it. Now, for some, 17k health is a little bit low. If you want to, you also can swap out the agility stuff with endurance chivalry, and just put 3 times stamina recovery there, so you get the extra HP bonus. You will lose weapon damage and stamina, but the difference is very small.